Good morning, good morning, good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, I just got to go off a little bit because he's decided to challenge the ADA. That would be Dr. Matthew Israel, of course. This is a person who wants to use Title III of the ADA to argue that his device is not torture. What we have learned by reading what Title III actually says is what it is referring to is what is considered and ruled by the FDA to be actual assistive devices and reasonable accommodations. In particular, it is referring to the things that give people with disabilities access to public areas. This means wheelchair ramps. This means communication devices. This means Braille for individuals who are blind. Things that make it possible for us to be able to utilize services out in where we live, right? It goes into detail to talk about the devices that it's mentioning. In no way, shape, and form at all does Title III in any way consider what Dr. Matthew uses as an assistive device. They are talking in specific to those accommodations and assistive devices that makes mobility possible. The GED, in the most literal sense, humanly possible, prevents mobility, not assists in it. But we're going to read more of this stupid and then wrap up for today, okay? All right, to the disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill, folks. Please read those articles and share them on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. We also have a link to the Ozark's first article in regards to the situation involving Agape Boarding School, now known as Stone for Help Boarding School, a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has been pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the hard evidence gathered by the Missouri Department of Social Services that include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation. That's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises with full access to the boys up on substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general who's obsessed with drag queens, and you've got a governor hyped up on a power trip with full control over our National Guard. So please read that article, share it on all your social media, and for the love of God, send help. All right? We also have all the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, a link to Jennifer Masamba's behavioral sheet on shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision, very obviously advised, all right? All right, folks, trigger warning. We are about to descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, torture and abuse apologencia, pseudoscience, lie after lie after lie. a whole lot of just what the fuck did I actually just read, and just know it's going to be there, folks. All right. Okay, we're going to double down on stupid apparently, because he's going to try and sit there and tell us why the Title III of ADA refers to his device when it very obviously doesn't. So let's descend into this, shall we? As a reference, folks, please go back to the video that was made specifically for Thursday. No, not Thursday. Friday. Excuse me. To the video from Friday, because that is going to go over what Title III actually says, and it very clearly references the types of devices that it is referring to. Okay? Thank you. All right. Elementary or secondary private schools are considered public accommodations. A school such as JRC qualifies as a person for the purpose of the statute. No, it doesn't, Karen. No, it doesn't. You are trying to claim that your GED device helps with mobility and the ability to have access to the public. We're talking grocery stores and what have you. Your device doesn't do any of these things, doctor. In the most technical terms, even if you're an advocate for this device, you know that this device does nothing to improve the mobility or help with any access to any public resources or schools. Please sit down. It is referring in particular to assisted devices such as communication devices, Braille for public reading and access to things such as city transportation, ramps, and other accommodations for those people with wheelchairs so they can utilize city buses and get in and out of grocery stores. None of this in any way, shape, or form have any reference to anything like your device. Let's see what more bullshit he wants to blow up our ass, shall we? Under the ADA, a disability is defined as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. And a physical or mental impairment includes any mental or psychological disorder such as mental retardation, organic brain syndrome, emotional or mental illness, and specific learning disabilities. Way to use archaic language, doctor. The ADA, as it stands, has had its language modified to not include such ableist terms, okay? Also, doctor, please don't define me what disability is. A, I've worked the field. B, I have one. And I can tell you point blank with my full chest that what they are referencing in Title III has nothing to do with your device. His argument is going to be based on this tiny little thread. And I'm going to tell you what it is before we read the rest of it. He's going to try and tell you that his GED device, which is used in particular for people with behaviors, here's his obsession with behaviors again, right? Right? He's going to tell you it is absolutely necessary because if we're not being tortured, then we won't be able to be out in public to be able to utilize these resources. That's his argument. Who wants to bet? Who wants to bet? But, doctor, we can't twist and turn the ADA to make what you do any less awful than what it is. Your device, in no way, shape, or any fucking form whatsoever, protects those kids. That's what Title III is about. It's about protecting our rights, not yours. Let me say that again for the idiots in the back. That's for protecting us, not you. The individual group that helped function and create the ADA is called ADAPT. One of the loudest groups against the JRC, bar none, and I am talking people on the fucking streets, boots on the ground, is ADAPT. Yeah, tells you something, doesn't it? Means the people that helped form and write this fucking law do not believe that your device is what they were talking about or in reference to when this law was being written. It is a direct reference to mobility. Your device does not promote mobility. Major activities include, oh God, he's going to sit there and tell me this shit I've already learned ad nauseum. Functions such as caring for oneself, performing manual tasks, walking, seeing, hearing, speaking, breathing, learning, and working. Okay. I'm going to tell you his argument before it even starts. He's going to sit there and tell you, but his GED is necessary because if he doesn't torture us, how will we learn? Right? But what if you have a behavior in public? Why, we should be able to torture you just right away. Right away. Yeah. He's listing his device as something that helps us do these life activities, when in actuality it does the exact opposite. Abuse does not in any way, shape, or form, doctor, help me in caring for myself, performing manual tasks, or doing learning or working. As an individual who's been through it, it does hamper it though. It makes learning damn near impossible when you're living in fear for when you're going to be tortured next. It makes learning nearly damn impossible when you're not being fed properly, as proven by science from the fucking early 90s, folks. We've known this shit for years. Years. Kids who eat on full stomachs and then go to school in the mornings are better able to learn and pay attention than those who are starving to death. But the JRC, with their contingent food program, will starve individuals in the morning. Yeah. Right? This argument doesn't hold up when it's put against logic and what the law actually says. Okay? Doctor. Not to mention, Title III has to do particularly with mobility. Okay? Is there parts of the ABA that has reference in regards to mental health issues? Sure. But there is a separate bill of laws that deal more specifically with that. You cannot use the ADA law that was made specifically about mobility and use it to argue that your torture device is necessary, doctor. But let's read the rest of this here, shall we? Clearly, the students at JRC who stand to benefit from adverse therapy as individuals with disabilities. Clearly, they don't, doctor. Nobody benefits from torture. You want to know what torture provides? As an autistic, someone who's neurodiverse, who's been through abuse, let me make it plain and simple for you. Okay? It provides a lifetime of trauma. It provides mental health issues that I would have never otherwise had suffered from. It provides that special cocktail from hell, in which it utilizes, I might, with my mental health issues and PTSD, have a flashback. That flashback kicks in my anxiety disorder, as well as my depression. Heightens that paranoia and fight or flight response like a motherfucker. Okay? Then it utilizes the autism diagnosis. All the worst traits of my diagnosis come out to haunt me. And if not dealt with soon enough, can turn into a full-blown out meltdown. Taking this all into context, how in any way, shape, or form is your device supposed to help me utilize services and learn again? It doesn't. We're going to close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.